If it is Monday night, it is the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. It is Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyo sitting in tonight for the Hardcore Python Derek Ferreira, celebrating a family get-together as always. So, I am joined right now by my partner in crime when it comes to the New York Rangers and the Rangers Roundup, of course, the one and only Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher, and the third member of our panel, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. I just got text from him just a moment ago. He's saying he's running late, so we're not gonna waste any time. We're not gonna wait for him. So we're just gonna start the show when he comes in. We'll catch him up. Simple as that. That's how we always do it here on the forum. So with that said, let's dive right in. Of course, this was the go-home show to the Elimination Chamber event, which will be taking place this Sunday night from Corpus Christi, Texas. But this Monday Night Raw tonight, for the final time ever, emanated from the legendary Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, Long Island, New York, the home of the New York Islanders, and hosted several editions of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, not to mention countless pay-per-views, including perhaps the two most notable, the New York portion of WrestleMania 2, and of course, the greatest SummerSlam card ever, well, SummerSlam event, I should say, of all time, the 2002 SummerSlam, which I rated between 9.5 to 10 out of 10, because basically nothing on that card sucked. There's really nothing left to say about that. Of course, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, we all know, stole the show. As Fletch and myself, well, we can tell you stories about that fight. That's from a personal standpoint, that was our personal favorite all-time match, being the Shawn Michaels and Triple H fans that we were back then and still are to this day. So, all right, so Nassau Coliseum, the venue, and we had some special guests. We'll get into that in a little bit. So, with that said, let's dive right in to and before I do that, they had a special video package before the show to honor Memorial Day. Let me just say that was one of the best video packages I have ever seen. And for them to show, I mean, we all know how much they love the troops, and we all do too. But to be honest, it shouldn't be just on Memorial Day. It should be every day that we show our appreciation for what they do and what they've done for us. Without them, there would be no Wrestling Forum. Let's not kid ourselves. If it wasn't for them, the show wouldn't even be on right now. No way. No way. So that's all there is to say about that. So starting it off with, of course, as per customary on a Monday night, the Authority. No. But, it is what it is. They all got in there, and then there was an interruption. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, they come out and interrupt. And then it led in to a tag team match. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose going up against the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and Corporate Kane. Winners of the match in 12 minutes and 50 seconds. It was Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. So let me just say it like this. Segment, but I'll say it like this, though. I mean, he could have been, the Authority, doing their usual shtick, but let me say this. The back and forth exchange between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, I thought was really good. And I'm going to call this the second best segment of the night. I thought there was one better. But no, the interaction with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, really, really well done. Bringing up their history in the Shield, and just a nice touch. So I thought that was really good. So second best segment there. As far as the match is concerned, I would probably have to say second best fight of the night here. I'm gonna give it between 2.5 to 3 stars. I thought it was solid action throughout the matchup, and it was only fitting that, and it was also a logical move to have Dean Ambrose pin the champion heading into the title match on Sunday night. So, and it's obvious, you know what that means. The old booking 101 is going to come into play here. So, and of course, for those of you new viewers out there who doesn't know what that means, booking 101 obviously means since the challenger got over the champion here tonight, and mainly on the go-home show, 9 times out of 10, the champion is going to go over on the pay-per-view, or WWE Network special in this case. So, and that is why my early projection is Seth Rollins is going to walk out of that thing still the champ. That's all there is to it. I think I don't know when Rollins could lose the belt. I think the earliest possible day that he could lose it would probably be at SummerSlam. But we'll get more into that in the months to come. So with that said, for my taste, the segment was the second best segment of the night, and the match was also the second best fight of the night. I thought there was one of each that was just a little better. 2.5 to 3 on the fight. So Fletch, your thoughts on the segment, the opening segment, and then the match as a whole, 2 for 1.
All right. Well, unfortunately, here I'm gonna have to abstain for the segment because I was on my way home from work when it happened. So I had to abstain from that. However, I did get to see the fight in its entirety. I will admit it was a good fight. So yes, I'll give you that. 2.5 stars is actually the better rating. I can't go 3 with this. I thought it was solid for what it was worth. I didn't really think it was much. Yes, Ambrose does go over tonight or goes over at that moment and he gets some momentum. But if you think about it, you see the twisting started immediately after that fight happened. So at the end of the day, it was a good match, solid fight. 2.5 stars is my rating for it. I can't go 3. I kind of disagree with you on that, Anthony. I think that's kind of a minor overscore in my book, but 2.5 stars is definitely the correct rating. I can't deny that. So no, it was solid. It was good. Let's move on.
Well, I said 2.5 to 3. That's what I said, between 2.5 and 3.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't give it the 3. 2.5 is good. I might even make a vouch for 2 3/4, but this was nowhere near
right
3-star level.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, all right. So with that said, next, unfortunately, this is one of those times where the luck of the draw is going to bite someone in the ass here, and unfortunately, it's going to be Michael Fletcher in this case. We had a match. It was Rusev. Rusev put the Rusev Pashka going up against one of the 5 other men he would be locked inside the Elimination Chamber with on Sunday night. Mr. What's Up himself, RTruth. Yeah, what was up? The fight, the winner of the match, and in even 1 minute, it was Rusev. But wait, there's more. After the match, of course, Rusev cut a heel promo, ran his mouth. He asked for Lana to come out, and there they go. And then Lana and Rusev had their war of the words. They had a moment. So that's really all there is to it. So Fletch, another 2 for 1 here. Rusev versus RTruth, the match, and then the post-match segment with Rusev and Lana.
All right, let's go with the fight itself. Complete and utter dud. Worst fight of the night. That is done. Buried. That goes into the scrap heap. But what wasn't a dud or anything else was Rusev and Lana going back and forth. This was epic. This was awesome. And the fans in Uniondale, Long Island, New York ate it up. And I was on the edge of my seat. Finally, Lana had enough and rips Rusev a new one. And then you forgot the icing on the cake, kid. Dolph Ziggler shows up, and well, there was a little smoochy little romance. But let's just say sparks were flying in Uniondale, Long Island. You know what? I wish they would have sounded the horn, that goal sound that they normally do for the New York Islanders, because Dolph Ziggler scored himself a power play goal, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, it was an awesome segment. The post-fight segment was actually better than the fight itself. I mean, the fight itself was a dud, but the post-match segment with Rusev and Lana and all that, I could say that was like a solid 3.5 stars. I actually liked it. You know, I loved how Lana is starting to find her own way and is starting to speak her own, is stepping up and rising up and basically is holding her own as a face figure. I don't know if the Dolph Ziggler thing is the right direction to go with her, but I think for now, I think it's a nice setup, a nice prelude to whatever they have in mind for the beautiful Lana. But I thought the post fight was well orchestrated, well scripted, and I gotta give credit to the writers. Even though we rip on the writers almost 8 out of 10 times, this is one of the rare times that we can say well done. I mean, it was beautifully written. I thought it was definitely one of the highlights of the night, and I thought they did a tremendous job. Everybody involved. Florio, it's yours.
Yes, we definitely agree on this. The match was a complete and utter dud. It was the worst fight of the night. I 100% agree with you on that, Fletch. I mean, it was basically a squash match. That's what it was. And I still don't know why, for the life of me, RTruth is in this Elimination Chamber match and not Adrian Neville. That's just my personal opinion. But moving on, and this is another one of those cases where a post-match segment was better than the match itself. I'll even go as far as to call this the segment of the night. I thought this was the segment of the night for me. I mean, the crowd was into it. I was into it. Fletch was into it. I'm sure Bullock was into it when and if he shows up. But, oh, my, this was unbelievable. I mean, Rusev, going off, getting in Lana's face, and then Lana's rebuttal saying, and then Rusev saying, we had a lot of great times, we met in Bulgaria, we had all this stuff and all this history, and saying all our dreams are coming true here, and I know you want to crush America as badly as I do, and then he's like, and then they had a moment. They had a little moment there, they had an embrace, and they raised hands and everything else, and then Rusev's like, okay, there's only one thing, you only have to say those 3 little words now, and I ain't talking about I love you, no. Those 3 words were, I was wrong. Yeah. No, I don't know if you noticed this, but when Rusev said those words, in a matter of about 3 to 5 seconds, Lana went from having a big smile on her face to the look of, really? Yeah. Ooh. Fletch always talks if looks could kill. Yeah. If looks could kill on the Ravishing Russian on that one. Woo-wee. That was awesome. But and then of course, and then that's what happened. And Lana starts to leave. Rusev says, and then you're like, get in here. And then you're like, he told her to know your place, woman. You get in here. He said, I own you, and you need to know your place. And then Lana gets in his face, says, no, you're a liar and a quitter. And she said she was not going to listen to this cruel, caveman, brutish, thick-headed, moronic mouth again. And then the icing on the cake, Lana smooching Dolph Ziggler again. Yeah, that was the icing on the cake here. I thought both Rusev and Lana came off really well during this segment. I loved the back and forth. It was great. And because of the intensity of it, and because of the storyline angle and everything else, Fletch is right. This is one of those rare times where the writers weren't writers. No, they were writers in this case, and they came up with a really well done segment here. So great job, great job. That's all there is to say about that. So so that was the segment of the night. The match, however, was an absolute dud and the worst fight of the night. I mean, 1 minute, come on. So with that said, we're gonna move on to our next matchup. It was another Elimination Chamber preview matchup. It was King Barrett, one-on-one with Ryback, winner of the match in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. The big guy. It was Ryback time. Feed me more. Feed me more. Ryback gets the victory. My worst fear is coming true here. A few weeks ago, Fletch and I, we talked about the King of the Ring and everything else. And Barrett winning it. And I told you, Fletch, I told you before we talked on the phone a little bit before we did our King of the Ring special video, in addition to the Bulls Corner on that same night. I said to you, and I know you'll back me up on this, I know you'll remember me saying this to you, Yeah, about Barrett. I said when Barrett was Intercontinental Champion, they had him lose darn near every week. They put the King of the Ring on him, and what's happening? He's losing again. Why am I not surprised? I suppose I can understand, they want to make Ryback look like a threat inside the Elimination Chamber. I get that. That's fine. But the expense of Barrett, when he was the Intercontinental Champion, having him lose in non-title matches was one thing. You put the King of the Ring on him, you're having him lose spontaneously again. God forbid, if the day ever comes, and from my personal taste, it's very, very unlikely. This is never going to happen. If the day ever comes where they put the WWE World Heavyweight belt on Barrett, yeah, they'll probably have him lose secondary non-title matches week after week after week after week on TVs, on Raw and SmackDown. It's a shame, really. Because to me, Barrett is one of the most underutilized, underappreciated talents in the WWE today. He's got a great look to him. He's got a great physique on him. He's got one of. I know his skill set may not be the best, but it's passable. And to me, like I said, I understand they want to make Ryback look like a threat inside the Elimination Chamber. I get that because it's his first ever Chamber match, and Barrett's been in a couple before. But come on, man, really? It's like I always like to refer back to Triple H on that infamous Tough Enough episode in 2001. And I'm going to put my own little spin on this. You either want to push Mr. Barrett or you don't. And if you don't, stop wasting his time and stop wasting our time. Quite frankly, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting tedious and redundant. Honest to goodness. 1.5 to 2 stars is my rating on the fight. It was an okay fight, but like I said, Barrett deserves better. You put the King of the Ring crown on him, for God's sakes, and yet you're still having him lose these secondary matches week after week. Give me a break, man. Fletch, it's yours.
Now, normally 9 times out of 10, I would be all over and I would be alongside with Anthony Florio, and I would absolutely be ripping on WWE about the booking and a lot of the things. And you do bring up some very valid points. However, the one thing I have to disagree with is I don't think Barrett's winning the Elimination Chamber. I don't. I know a lot of people are thinking Barrett should be one of the favorites, and, rightfully so. But something tells me Barrett's not going to be there at the end. And I'm sorry, but I don't think he is. Something just tells me he's not going to be there. And, King of the Ring, he deserves it because he won it. But the thing is at the end of the day, I don't believe in my heart of hearts that Barrett is a viable contender. And here's the reason why. Yes, he did win the King of the Ring, and deservedly so. But remember, they gave him the opportunity as the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion before, and what happened? He got hurt. He got injured. I'm sorry, kid. He's injury prone. And I just don't believe there is a legitimate case or argument for Barrett to be champion again. Now, if they really if they put the belt on Barrett, that means WWE has a lot of faith, and it's gonna go with a major league gamble for that matter of fact, for him to be the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion again. But then again, can't we just say about another person? And I know I'm going to really anger a few people here, but Daniel Bryan. They gave him the World Heavyweight Championship. And what happened? He had to forfeit the belt 2 months later due to injury. They gave him the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. and he had to forfeit the belt last about a couple of weeks ago. So that's the problem that I have with your theory, Florio. And yes, does Barry deserve better? Absolutely. But his contract is running out, and he's about to leave the company. So I'm sorry. Until, I think the last great thing that they're gonna do is make him king of the ring. But once his contract is done, he's done with WWE. He's already mentioned it that he's gonna leave. So at the end of the day, who you have to build? Let's build the future. Ryback, he's a future Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. He deserves it. Rusev, yes, I agree with that. Sheamus, who I believe will walk out with the Intercontinental title. He's the one I think is going to win the whole thing when this is all said and done. So at the end of the day, there's nothing more to say. Two stars is my rating for the fight. Florio, let's move on.
And for the record, I do not have Bad News Barrett anywhere near the end of that fight either. I mean, I don't even have him winning it. Like I said, it's between, for me, it's either Sheamus or Rusev for me. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. And I know we're probably going to have some sort of preview show this weekend, I'm sure. And when we do, I know we're going to get into great detail about that particular matchup. So don't worry. We'll get there eventually. So, all right. We're going to move on to our next matchup here. It was Stardust one-on-one with the man that gravity forgot, Neville, and the winner of the match in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It was the man that gravity forgot. It was Neville. Fletch, it's all yours, man. What do you think?
Well, let's go with a couple of things here. Number one, solid fight, decent match. About 2.5 stars, maybe. I'll go as far as that. I might have overscored it, but forgive me on that. I thought it was good. But what really starting to get under my skin is Bo Dallas. I'm sorry. I never liked Bo Dallas since day one. This belief thing is getting tiring, sickening, and I'm at the point where I just don't give two you-know-whats. But it looks like we're going to get a major payoff here because I think Bo Dallas and Adrian Neville are on a collision course to fight one-on-one in a match, and it's going to happen. He's sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. He's trying to hurt Neville. Neville is selling really good with that knee injury that supposedly he suffered last week, and they're really selling the fact that he's not at 100%. But Bo Dallas keeps on wanting to interject himself and trying to harm, the man that gravity forgot. It seems like to me that it's almost like, and I'm gonna say it like this, Florio. It sounds like they're trying to bring him back to reality. Neville has got the jetpack rocket, and it's been launched. Now all of a sudden, I should say, the jetpack is starting to lose its steam. It's starting to drift, and now you're in that no man's land where you're just floating in the air. You know how gravity is. So what it's trying to do is they're trying to bring it back to Earth, and you know how that happens. If that thing comes back to Earth, if it's not done correctly, that thing's gonna explode into a fireball, and the next thing you know, it's gonna be crash landing, and that's what I'm afraid they might be trying to do with Adrian Neville. He's entering back into the atmosphere, but he's so big and so huge and everything else that I don't want the suits or Mr. McMagama, like you like to call Vince McMahon when he has a loony idea. But I don't want McMagama to bring the man that gravity forgot re-entry into the atmosphere, and this thing explodes into a fireball and crashes and burns. That's the last thing we need to see. As far as the fight goes, like I said, I would say 2.25, 2.5 is my rating. I might have overscored it. I apologize if I did, but I'm just sick and tired of Bo Dallas. That's just my 2 cents on that. Florio, it's yours.
You and me both, Fletch, when it comes to Bo Dallas. I mean, you're not the only one. I mean, that whole Bo Lee thing is, tedious, like I said earlier, tedious and redundant. And it really needs to stop. I mean, nobody needs a repackaging more than he does. Let's not kid ourselves. But nonetheless, 2 to 2.25 stars is my rating for the fight. It was an okay fight for what it was. Your boy from the Arrow show, Fletch. I know how much you love that Arrow show. We talked about that. Stephen Amell, the young man who plays Arrow.
Oh yeah, love him, love that guy.
And I know you love, and I know how much you love the show too. I know you watch it religiously. I can certainly understand that. And of course, that's on Wednesday nights on the CW network. And yeah, he was there. Apparently, there was a Twitter beef between him and Stardust, I guess. So that's why Stardust was going after him, if you noticed it. But that didn't really, play into the fight. I mean, it was a solid matchup, and Neville getting the win there, and then Bo Dallas doing the number. Fletch talks about Neville and Dallas having a matchup. Well, you don't have to wait long. They're gonna have a match Sunday night at the Elimination Chamber event. Neville, Bo Dallas, 1-on-1. It's happening Sunday night. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. My guess is it's not really going to be one of the top fights of the night, but we'll have to wait and see because, with how loaded that card is, I mean, I think it's probably going to be one of the worst fights of the night, maybe by default. I hope it's by default. I mean, we're fine if it's a default, but if it ends up being one of those, dud enhancement fights that, how much we love those. Yeah, right. No, then we're gonna have a problem with that. So we'll wait and see. So, but what I can confirm is Neville, Bo Dallas, 1-on-1 Elimination Chamber event in Corpus Christi Sunday night. So there you go. All right. Moving on to our next matchup here. It was our third and final Elimination Chamber preview matchup. It was Dolph Ziggler going up against the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. Winner of the match in 10 minutes and 15 seconds. It was the Celtic Warrior. It was Sheamus. So, okay. For me, I got to say, based on the body of work here, I'd have to say this was the fight of the night by a slim margin. Hold on. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Little slowness there. All right. Solid 3-star fight for Sheamus and Ziggler. By default, I have to say this was the fight of the night because there was some good near falls down the stretch. Rusev would get involved, and it was a slight distraction. Ziggler would super kick him off the apron, but then moments later he gets hit with a bro kick by Sheamus, and Sheamus goes on to win the fight. And then once again the Lana and Rusev drama where it goes on to this, but carries over into this matchup. And then after the fight, Rusev, takes out Dolph Ziggler. He does a number on him, and to the point where he puts the accolade on, and then that was it. And then of course Lana would obviously console Dolph Ziggler afterwards, or comfort him. So yeah. Of course, when it comes to the 2 chamber matches, I mean, this one definitely is maybe the slightly more intriguing than the other one, even though it's going to be that first ever tag team one. We'll have more on that in a little bit. But, oh, my goodness. I mean, what a fight this was. I mean, like I've always said, Sheamus and Ziggler work very well together, and they put on some very good matches beforehand, and this is just another one. So, to me, not only was this far and away the best of the 3 chamber preview fights, but I could also go as far as to call this the fight of the night, basically. Solid 3 stars. And like I said, when it comes to who I have winning the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on Sunday night inside the Elimination Chamber, it's between one of two men. It's either going to be Sheamus or it's going to be Rusev. Thankfully, I had a few days to think about this long and hard because I love to be right about everything, and I'm hoping that I can be right about this. So that's all there is to say on that. So solid 3 stars, fight of the night, and it's either Sheamus or Rusev who comes out of the chamber with the IC belt. Simple as that. Fletch, it's yours.
Okay, I agree with the 3 stars. I agree with the fight of the night rating. I gave you that. The one thing I gotta say is I think Sheamus is walking out of it with the IC heavyweight title. And the thing is that if you look at the storylines and the way that it goes, I believe Ziggler and Rusev are not done. I think they're going to have a program with Lana involved. I think it's going to get stuck in the middle. I think it's just something in that nature that's going to produce that rivalry to go further and better beyond our dreams and our belief. I think with all the others, I think Barrett will probably be continuing his role, as the king. I think somebody will challenge him soon enough. And I think he might have that thing with Ryback. I don't know. I think that could be a good program there. I think with RTruth, I could care less, honestly, about whatever he does. And I think Sheamus is the one that's going to walk out with the belt. I truly believe that Sheamus will have a nice little run with it. And I kind of have a sneaky feeling that, and I know I'm going to get a lot of yeses from the yes movement on this, but I believe sometime down the line, because I don't believe he'll be ready for SummerSlam, because I think he'll still be out, but I could see either possibly at Survivor Series, I'll even go as far to say maybe even Royal Rumble, where I think they'll probably, I hope I'm right about this, but I think we might see Daniel Bryan come back. And if he does ever come back, I think it would be the perfect scenario to have him and Sheamus go at it and have him chase for the Intercontinental title, because of the fact that Sheamus is really the one kind of been pegging himself as the man that took the yes movement out. So, I mean, that would be the best scenario to think about. Just my personal thoughts. So, Anthony, let's move on.
All right. Moving on to our next matchup here. Oh boy, now we're gonna have some fun here. The John Cena United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. Cena, of course, cuts his customary promo before the fight. And who steps up to take the challenge this week? Michael Fletcher, I know you're going to be very happy with this. The Long Island Ice Z himself, the leader of the Ryder Revolution, the one and the only Zack Ryder, with the cast of Entourage in his corner for this one. But even with the cast of Entourage, I'm sorry to say, same old story, same old song and dance. Winner of the match in 4 minutes and 5 seconds, and still the United States Heavyweight Champion, John Cena. So, Fletch, your thoughts on Cena's promo before the fight, and then, of course, the fight itself?
Promo before the fight is everything we expected from Cena, but I loved the way he went after the haters tonight. He talked about, for 10 years, you had the Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks. And he said, for those who've been, hustle, loyalty, respect, who's been there with them since day one, who've been ride or die. That's one of my sayings I like to use. And Floyo knows that better than anybody else. And actually, our super fan Megan Silva knows that better than anybody else. I love to use the ride or die term. And it works. It is very true. Cena has been either you love him or you hate him. there's never a middle ground of John Cena. And he praised the ones who were with him, and basically the ones who hated him are always looking for the one to take him out, the one to beat him, the one to finish John Cena off, to finish the Cena Nation. And 10 years have gone by, and he is still standing. And then he talked about, well, now you got possibly the next savior, or the one that the Cena haters, the IWC believes is the next guy to possibly try to topple Mount Cena, who is Kevin Owens. Now, as far as that goes, we'll get into him in a minute. The fight itself was actually a good match. I'm not going to say it was the best fight. It clearly wasn't the best fight of the open challenges. I think you can honestly admit, and I'll even say this was probably a middle of the pack fight. It was short, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. Zack Ryder gets a chance on Monday Night Raw, got a chance to fight in his own hometown in Long Island, New York, and did a decent job, a respectable, commendable performance. I could say this was about maybe a 1.5 to 2 star fight. Is my rating. And I mean, they gave him a chance to win it. I mean, he did hit him with the Rough Rider. That is his finishing maneuver. Cena does kick out at 2, but credit to Cena for doing what he had to do and finishing the job and winning the fight. But it was spoiled by the NXT Heavyweight Champion. It was spoiled by the NXT Heavyweight Champion, as it was actually destroyed by Kevin Owens, who once again, for the second consecutive week in a row, drops a pop-up powerbomb on John Cena and lays him out in the middle of the ring, and then once again disrespecting the United States Heavyweight Championship by stepping on it right in front of an ailing and laid out John Cena. You want to talk about disgusting displays, to say the very least, but something tells me, Booking 101, Cena's going over on Kevin Owens Sunday night at the Elimination Chamber event exclusively on the WWE Network. So, I mean, good fight, solid fight. Like I said, 1.5 stars is my rating. Anthony, it is all yours, my friend.
All right, I have a couple of news bits from the world of sports. First off, the Houston Rockets stave off elimination. They defeat the Golden State Warriors 128-115 in Game 4 of the NBA Western Conference Finals. Golden State still leads the series 3-1. Series goes back to Oakland for Game 5. That'll be on Wednesday night at the Oracle. And then in the Stanley Cup playoffs, major Shakespearean drama from Anaheim. The Ducks literally had the game on ice. They had a 4-2 lead before Jonathan Toews scores 2 goals in about a minute. It has evened that game. Just as it looked like the Ducks were going to take a 3-2 lead back to Chicago for Game 6, also on Wednesday night. Not so fast. The Chicago Blackhawks. Where have we seen this before? Well, don't ask Bruin fans. Don't ask Derek Ferrer or Michael Bullock about that. They'll tell you firsthand. And
actually, that was even quicker, because wasn't that 2 goals in 17 seconds?
Yes,
if I remember correctly.
Indeed, it was.
And it actually led to Chicago winning the Stanley Cup in Boston.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And we had we had it right here on the Wrestling Forum. We had that moment.
Yeah, we did.
But then, yeah, definitely one of the biggest moments in Wrestling Forum history, although it was more beneficial to our superfan Matt Ward than it was to our own Derek.
Oh, man. I remember that night very vivid. Well, actually, I don't think I was on the show that night, because I think I had work I actually had work commitments that night. I had to leave because of the fact that I had to work the next day. It was an early shift for me, but I did remember. And I'll even tell you this, funny story, just for the moment to go off topic. I had 2 guys who are members of the 2184 crew. Jesse and Joel DeRoches.
Oh, yes.
They're die-hard Boston Bruin fans. I mean, dude, you want to know how committed they are? They do the playoff beards. Like when the Bruins started no, honest to goodness, when they started the Bruins run for the Stanley Cup, they were absolutely clean shaven. And each day I saw them, the beards were growing more and more and more and more up until the very end of the Stanley Cup final. But the way that this game went down, dude, it felt like you did not want to talk to them because they were thinking about literally dropping the gloves and fighting you if you would have mentioned the Boston Bruins and the 2 goals in 17 seconds. That was it. You were done for.
Yes, absolutely agree with that. But nonetheless, the Chicago Blackhawks, unbelievably, just as it looked like Anaheim was going to take a 3-2 lead back to Chicago for Game 6 Wednesday night, Chicago ties the game 4-4. And now that thing is going, once again, to overtime. Unbelievable. You want to talk about Shakespearean drama? You got some Shakespearean drama. And we'll keep you posted on the developments from that one. But my goodness gracious. I mean, yeah. So moving back to the task at hand here, the Wrestling Forum. Cena's promo, what can I say about it? I mean, I love these promos. I mean, he addressed the haters, mainly those in the IWC, because let's face it, he is public enemy number 1 and the most hated man when it comes to the IWC. A title that he took off of Triple H's shoulders, because I know Triple H at once upon a time was the most hated man in the IWC. I'm pretty sure he's number 2. Of course, John Cena will probably forever and always will be the most hated man in the IWC. I think the only way the IWC will call off the dogs is if the day ever does come, even though I don't think it's ever going to happen, if the day ever does come where John Cena does the unthinkable and actually turns heel. If Cena ever turns heel, oh boy, the internet will break. How many times have we seen the internet break because of moves in professional wrestling? I mean, with Daniel Bryan winning the title at WrestleMania 30 and all these NXT upstarts, having some big moments, like Neville and Zayn and Owens. Just imagine what's going to happen if Kevin Owens does the unthinkable and Kevin Owens beats John Cena Sunday night at the Elimination Chamber event. My goodness, the internet's going to break. Because we all know Kevin Owens is another of many IWC darlings. Darlings that include, obviously, the aforementioned Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Neville, Sami Zayn. Well, basically anybody in NXT. That's all there is to it. So, but the promo by Cena I thought was fantastic as always. I mean, I love his promos. That's all there is to say about that. His pre-match promo. And then the match itself, I'm going to give it a solid 2 stars. Solid 2 stars, maybe even 2.5 stars for the effort. Because, there was some moments there. There was some, some good, close, back and forth moments. I mean, yeah, it was only a 4-minute fight, but yeah. But it was nice. I'm glad that they gave Zack Ryder a big moment here, a big time moment, in his hometown, since it is the last time Monday Night Raw or World Wrestling Entertainment will ever broadcast anything, will ever put on a show at the legendary Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, Long Island, New York, an arena that has had numerous moments where history was made. I mean, obviously with the Islanders when they won those 4 Stanley Cups in the first 4 years of the 80s. And also, like I said, with WrestleMania 2, the New York portion of that event. And of course, the greatest SummerSlam event of all time, and still to this day, in my opinion, 2002. Which, like I said, I rated 9.5 to a perfect 10 out of 10 because nothing on that show sucked. Nothing. I guarantee that. I mean, don't believe me? Watch the event on the WWE Network, or if you have that SummerSlam DVD box set that came out years back, you watch that sucker, and yeah, you'll be rating that the same way I did, and I'm sure Michael Fletcher did too. I mean, and especially Shawn Michaels and Triple H. I mean, I can't help but think about that fight every time I see a WWE event in the Coliseum. But just sharing some of my favorite Coliseum moments. Fletch, if you want to share some of your moments later on or any time, feel free. So yeah, but nonetheless, it's actually I'm gonna bump the rating a little bit. I'm gonna give it between 2.25 to 2.5 stars here because, like I said, there was some very good moments, some very good near falls. I'm glad that Cena didn't fall out bury Ryder. I'm glad Ryder actually got his moments, but nonetheless, though, for a 4-minute match, I mean, it was really, really good. If I'm being honest with you, and it's another one of the top fights of the night for sure. And like I said, Zack Ryder, I mean, one of the top members, one of the charter members of what Derek Ferreira calls the Burial Club. I mean, let's face it, his candle burned out long before. I mean, his candle burned out, just about 3 years ago in 2012. I mean, you remember TLC 2011 in Baltimore. He beats Dolph Ziggler. He wins the United States Heavyweight Championship. Mark out moment. I mean, the fans marked out. Fletcher marked out. Oh, Michael Fletcher marked out. I mean, I still remember him going nuts on that very night. I mean, we were together at that particular moment. We were on the phone. We saw that fight, and oh my God, when Ryder won that belt, my God, Fletch lost his mind. Oh, did he lose his mind?
I remember that. Oh yeah, that was an awesome moment. I think I said it. The Ryder Revolution had arrived. We had a new United States Heavyweight Champion. It was awesome.
Yeah, but fast forward, turn the clock forward all these years later. Yeah, that might have been. I'm not saying it was his last hurrah, but I'm saying it felt like a last hurrah for me. But of course, we all know how close John Cena and Zack Ryder are behind the scenes. Everybody knows that. I mean, they have a bond almost like brothers. If I'm being quite honest with you, I know there's a brotherly type bond. I'm not gonna go out and say it's a bromance or anything, but I do know that John Cena and Zack Ryder are very close, and they had a nice little moment there, and then the boys from Entourage there. I mean, I honestly thought when I heard that they were going to be on the show, I honestly thought there was going to be some Mr. McMagma silliness. If I'm being honest with you, I thought they were going to be involved in some lame ass comedy skit, but thankfully that was not the case. I'm glad they used them for something meaningful in this case. So yeah, well done to that. So I mean, color me surprised. I mean, there have been a lot of times where I hear about these guest stars and I'm thinking, oh great, McMagma silliness, but some of the times the guest stars have actually been actually proved to be something of worth, and I'm glad I was wrong. I was pleasantly surprised by that. So with that said, 2.25, 2.5 stars for that fight. So that's basically all there is to say about it. So with that said, let's move on to our next matchup, Divas action. It was Paige versus Tamina Snuka, accompanied by Naomi. Bella Twins on commentary. Winner of the match in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, it was Tamina Snuka. I'm going to give it 1.5 stars for the effort. I mean, it was a solid fight. Too short for my liking though, but I did think there was some solid action for the 3.5 minutes we got. And now we all know what's going to happen Sunday night at the Elimination Chamber event. We're going to have ourselves a triple threat match for the Divas Championship. Nikki Bella is going to defend against both Naomi and Paige. And you heard it here first. I can give you my prediction right now, which I will reiterate when we do our preview show this weekend. Naomi's going to win that thing. I think this is finally going to be Naomi's time. I really do. I know I've been saying that the last few weeks, and I get it, but I think this is finally going to be Naomi's moment. I really do. And Michael Bullock has just joined us. Mr. Bullock, you got quite a bit of catching up to do. So yeah. This Diva fight, I'm going to say 1.5 stars for it. So Michael Fletcher, hang tight. We're going to bring Michael Bullock in. We're going to catch him up. I'm going to put him right to work. So Mr. Bullock, very quickly and very briefly, Give us your thoughts on on all the stuff that you've missed up until the Diva fight, and if you need me to start you off, if you need me to you know tell you which segment in order, I'll be more than happy to do that. So Michael Bullock, it's all yours, man. Have at it.
All right. Yeah, Anthony, I would love for you to go through the the stuff. Well, I know the first segment was the opening segment with the with, of course, who else? The Authority. Yeah. I thought it was an all right segment for what it was. I mean, it was your typical cookie cutter Authority segment here. Of course, it was interrupted by Dean Ambrose, and yeah, had a nice little back and forth, and then of course Roman Reigns comes out, and well, of course before that, Triple H and the Authority say all you have to do is sign your contract by the end of the night, and if you do, you get your title shot, and if you don't, well, the match is off. So I thought the segment was fine for what it was, and as far as I think the first match was Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose against Seth Rollins and Kane. And Florio, can you give me the like the time of the match, if you can?
Sure. Yep, I have it. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose won the fight in 12 minutes and 50 seconds.
All right. I thought it was fine for what I thought it was a good match here. I'm gonna say probably I'm gonna give it an even 3 stars for the effort. I thought the match was good. It was back and forth, and of course we did have those Authority shenanigans, of course, with J&J Security. So yeah, so 3 stars for the match here. So yeah, so Florio, give me the next match, because I think it's Rusev versus R-Truth, right?
Let me check my notes here. Yes, R-Truth against Rusev, and then the post-match segment with Rusev and Lana.
Yeah, match. Not gonna get into that. Absolute dud. This, and then of course the segment with him and Lana. I thought it was a really good segment here. Of course, a nice back and forth with them, and Rusev saying, I'm says, even though though you caused me to lose the match at WrestleMania, and the fact that you misheard me saying I quit, I still think I want you to be by my side. And then Lana basically is like, oh, I've done everything for you, and Rusev says we can still make it happen. And then just when it looked like they were getting back together, then Lana says, you know what? You are a liar and you are a quitter, and I knew you said I quit. And then of course she basically says, I'm not gonna listen to you being a scum. I'm not gonna be with you anymore. And then she heads back up with Dolph Ziggler and shared another kiss between the two of them. So yeah, match was a dud, but the segment was way better than the match. So yeah, and I believe the next match was King Barrett versus Ryback, right? Right, Florio?
Yeah. Hang on, just let me get there. Yes. Ryback against King Barrett. Ryback won in 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna probably say just. I'm gonna give this an NA because it was too short for my liking. So, but they just want to make these two look good for their matchup at for their Elimination Chamber Intercontinental title match. So NA, but you know what? I'm actually going to be a little bit more generous, and I'll say probably half a star. So yeah, half a star for me. So that being said, Florio, I think the next match is Neville and Stardust.
Neville and Stardust. Neville the winner in 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
I'm gonna give this another half a star just because of the body of work of Neville. So, and then of course Bo Dallas comes out and Bo Dallas came out during the whole thing and of course Neville hits the red arrow and then of course excuse me Bo Dallas basically of course tells him to leave and then he drop kicks Neville so match was another half a star. So I guess the next match was Sheamus and Ziggler. Right, Florio?
Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler, indeed. The winner of the match was Sheamus in 10 minutes and 15 seconds.
I'm going to say probably about two and a quarter, 2.5 stars. I thought it was another fine match for what it was between the two. And then of course after the match, Rusev basically comes out and basically beats the crap out of Dolph Ziggler and he locks in the accolade basically right in front of Lana and so the match was really good. So and then what do we have next, Florio?
It was the John Cena United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. It was John Cena, doing his promo before the match, and then John Cena going up against Zack Ryder, and John Cena, of course, winning, and that was in 4 minutes and 5 seconds.
All right. I thought the Cena segment was fine for what it was, and then the match, not my cup of tea when it comes to it. I'm gonna say probably, but because there was some alright action, I'm going to give this maybe 1 to 1.5 stars for the effort. So, yeah. And then, of course, Kevin Owens comes out of nowhere and then hits the pop-up powerbomb to Cena and once again stomps on the United States Championship, disrespecting it and being like that cocky, no good... no good. He sort of like reminds me of Seth Rollins when it comes to that. So so the match was all right, but I like what happened afterwards with that beatdown by Kevin Owens. So really looking forward to the match between Cena and Owens at Elimination Chamber this Sunday. So. So with that being said, I guess we're moving on to the next match.
And I let off on it. It was the Diva fight. It was Tamina Snuka against Paige, and Tamina Snuka won the fight. And I believe it was 3 minutes and 50 seconds. No, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, rather. 3 minutes and 30 seconds for that fight. I gave it about 1.5 stars for the effort. So I don't know about you, Bullock, but what do you think?
I'm going to say 1.5 stars for the effort as well. I thought the match was fine for what it was, and of course they want to make Paige look good going into that triple threat Divas title match. So really nothing all that special. 1.5 stars. Fletcher, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll go 1.5 stars as well. I mean, it was a solid fight for what it was worth. It's just momentum going into the championship fight, the triple threat Sunday night. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know what to expect, what to think. Do I think Naomi can win the title? Absolutely. But, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, This is not really a major pay-per-view. Do you really want to see a title change hands here? Possibly, but at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, hopefully they'll give them enough time. Hopefully they'll give them an opportunity, and we'll wait and see from there. But this could be a sleeper fight of the night if it's booked correctly. Because we all know Naomi can go. We definitely know Paige can definitely go. Nikki Bella is getting a lot better in the ring now. Hopefully, it actually turns out to be a really good fight, and I'm hoping for the best there. So we'll see what happens. Florio, let's go.
All right. We're going to move on to our next matchup. It was a 10-on-3 handicap match. Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, the Primetime Players, Los Matadores, the Ascension, and the Lucha Dragons going up against the New Day. All three members of the New Day. 10-on-3 handicap match. Apparently there was a decision. They awarded the bout via disqualification to the New Day. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this 10-on-3 handicap matchup?
You know what? I really didn't like this at all. I mean, this was basically, and I'm gonna say NA when it comes to this, because I mean, this really wasn't even a match at all. I mean, and then afterwards we had a brawl with all the participants in the tag team match, tag team title elimination chamber match. And then, of course, so the match, it was just a throwaway. So, NA for me. Fletcher, it's yours.
Yeah, NA as well. I mean, it was kind of a throwaway, but what an interaction we had. We got to see everybody involved in the Elimination Chamber tag team title fight. I still wonder what the hell they're going to do. Because, I mean, those pods are not small at all. I don't know how they're going to fit two guys in one pod. And then on top of that, how are you going to deal with the match itself? Is it, I mean, obviously, I'm thinking tornado tag team rules. But the thing I'm thinking is and here's my theory about the rules. If I can break it down, what I'm thinking it's going to be. I think how they're going to do it is 4 teams are going to be into pods. The 2 teams remaining is going to be starting the fight, and I think it's going to be tag team tornado rules. I think when one person of the team is eliminated, the entire team is out. Last team standing wins the tag team titles. It's just going to make for some very interesting situation, especially if there's more than 3 or 4 teams in the ring. That means we're gonna have at least 8 guys in that ring at the same time. This could be a mini Royal Rumble. This is gonna be pretty epic. So at the end of the day, we just gotta wait and see how it goes. NA is my rating for the fight. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna NA it as well. I mean, because it's basically what it was. I mean, the Elimination Chamber match, this tag team title match, for some odd reason, I think New Day is going to walk out of this thing still the champs. That's how I feel about it. Oh, and by the way, as far as the fight is concerned, you heard it here first. I think this is going to be the opening fight. I think this is going to start the Chamber event off. I really do. Because if you want to you always want to go for that hot start. You always want to go for that crowd riling moment. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do here. So you heard it first. This tag team title elimination chamber match is going to be the first fight of the night. I really do. So NA for me. Really nothing left to say here. I'm just going to start it off here. We're just going to move on to the final segment of the night. It was the Authority once again coming down to the ring. Basically about the contract signing, and then all of a sudden, Roman Reigns shows up, and then all of a sudden, commandeering a paddy wagon, the lunatic fringe himself, Dean Ambrose, and then all hell breaks loose, and then Dean Ambrose officially signs the contract. So it is on, folks. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at the Elimination Chamber event on Sunday night. So, Michael Fletcher, let's start it off with you, man. What did you think of all this craziness? I know how much you love this Dean Ambrose craziness, but I know this one probably got to rank right up there for you.
Oh yeah, this was excellent. I loved the segment. I loved how everything broke down, especially at the end of the night. It was a solid way to close the show. Roman Reigns shows up. It looks like they were going to announce the fact that, oh, there's not going to be anybody who's going to get a shot at Seth Rollins' belt. And the next thing you know, Roman Reigns comes out, doesn't come through the crowd. He came through the actual entranceway this time around, which is a curveball even for us. However, the beatdown ensues. It was basically a 4-on-1 beatdown. The next thing you know, you hear the sirens, you hear the paddy wagon, and there's Dean Ambrose getting out of it. It looks like he has been cleared of all charges. It seems like he gets out, he makes the charge. Chaos ensues after that. But the lasting thing before the whole thing was over was Roman Reigns gives Dean Ambrose the contract. Dean Ambrose signs the contract to make it official. He is now officially in as number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins. What a match this is going to be on Sunday night. Definitely has the makings to be the fight of the night, no doubt about it. And I mean, I can't wait. I cannot wait for this fight. I'm excited for this match. But what a way to end Monday Night Raw. A solid way to end Raw. No doubt about that. Florio, it's yours.
And we do have some news here. The Anaheim Ducks. Yes, the Anaheim Ducks have defeated the Chicago Blackhawks 3-2. Well, I should say 5-4 in sudden death overtime. Matt Bolesky scores the goal for the Anaheim Ducks, and man, you got to feel for them after all that they did to tie the game, being down 4-2, and then all of a sudden, Anaheim 45 seconds into overtime wins it. So they now take a 3-2 lead into Chicago for Game 6 on Wednesday night. So yeah, that's all I can say on that. But as far as this goes, I mean, this segment was just absolutely fantastic. Another one of the segments of the night. I mean, Dean Ambrose, commandeering the paddy wagon there. What they did an arrest angle earlier in the show, one of those dreaded arrest angles that one of those pointless and unnecessary arrest angles. But that's exactly what they did on Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose got arrested, and it turned out that the authority, set it all up. Seth Rollins was the one who set that thing up, and then Ambrose commandeers the paddy wagon a la Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, it was almost like when Stone Cold Steve Austin drove the Zamboni into the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, that one of those infamous Monday Night Raws during the Attitude Era in September of '98, and then he got his hands on McMagma, which was awesome. The infamous JR doing the, oh yeah, Austin got McMahon. We all remember that infamous moment. It reminded me a lot of that, to be honest with you, and then there you go. Dean Ambrose signs the contract. We got ourselves a title match on Sunday night, and we have ourselves a loaded Elimination Chamber card, which we'll break down this weekend at some point, I'm sure. But a very solid way to close out what I thought was a rather solid edition of Monday Night Raw, which, as we all know now, the final time World Wrestling Entertainment will ever put on a show at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, Long Island, New York, as the Coliseum will be closing its doors very shortly. So that's pretty much all I can say about that. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this crazy main event segment?
Yeah, this definitely was crazy. Of course, the authority basically coming out and basically is like, you know what, we're still going to give Dean Ambrose a chance to come out and sign the contract, and then they're all mocking him and saying, oh, he's not going to come out. And then just when it looked like Triple H was going to say the match was off, here comes Roman Reigns, and then all of a sudden you hear like the sirens going off, and yep, Dean Ambrose comes out and basically with the cop hat and the Billy Club, and then all mayhem ensues, and then after that, Roman Reigns basically hands the contract to Dean Ambrose. He signs it, and we got ourselves a WWE World Heavyweight Title match between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and yeah, it's really looking like a stacked card for this Elimination Chamber event on the WWE Network. So yeah, a good way to close out the show. So with that being said, Florio, overall thoughts time.
And my show, I'm leading off. I don't care what anybody says. I want this one. So because I know exactly how we're going to score the show tonight. This is the easiest overall review I've ever done. Solid 7 out of 10. It's as simple as that. I mean, solid hype for the Elimination Chamber event. I mean, yeah, the show could have been better, but I felt like the overall body of work, and yeah, there may have been a couple of moments there, but nonetheless, I mean, let me break it down like this. Fight of the night by a smidge. It was Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus. Then you also had the tag team match, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins and Kane. And then, obviously, the match with John Cena and Zack Ryder. I thought those were the 3 fights of the night. And then the other fights, were just there. Adrian Neville against Stardust, Barrett against Ryback, and that 10-on-3 handicap silliness there. But the in-ring segments, I thought, were the main sellers here. I mean, especially that Rusev and Lana segment. I thought that was really well done. And then, obviously, of course, the what else is that? The segment, well, of course, John Cena's pre-match promo there. Always a fun watch. And then, of course, those authority segments, the first one and the last one, the main event segment there. And I thought they solidly hyped this event tonight. So a solid, but not overly spectacular edition. I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10, like I said, based on that. And of course, some notes going into the Elimination Chamber event. Michael Bullock, this is something that you and I are going to be very happy about. We're going to have, I mean, normally, during these kickoff segments, there's usually some kind of silly match or, some lame-ass comedy type fight during this, but no. What's going to happen during the kickoff show for the Elimination Chamber event Sunday night, we're going to have a Miz TV, and you're thinking, oh, great, Miz TV, yeah, that's going to put some butts in the seats. Yes, it will. It actually will. Because who's Miz's special guest going to be? None other than the leader of the Yes Movement himself, the original, ridiculously over, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is going to be there.
Yes.
Oh, hell
freaking yes.
Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, now that Dinkelberg shows up. Ugh.
Yeah, how you like that, authority sympathizer? But
hey, I'm a Viper sympathizer. Careful, Florio, bro. Get it straight. I'm not authority. I'm a Norton Mark.
Yep, I know. We all know that. Just having fun. But nonetheless, Daniel Bryan will be at the Elimination Chamber event. He will be the special guest of The Miz for Miz TV during the kickoff show. If that's not must see right there, I don't know what is. I mean, Daniel Bryan will be there. I mean, maybe he'll give us an update on what's going on with his current situation. Hopefully, it will be good news. Pray to God for that. I mean, I certainly am. I know Bullock certainly is, and all the members of the Yes Movement all around the world, we're all praying that when Daniel Bryan shows up on Miz TV, that it will be good news. So let's see what happens with that. Fingers crossed and knock on wood for that. Now, also, of course, you got Rollins and Ambrose for the title. You got the 2 chamber matches, the IC title, the tag team titles. John Cena against Kevin Owens, the triple threat for the Divas title, Nikki Bella, Naomi, Paige. And then, of course, what was just announced tonight, Adrian Neville versus Bo Dallas, 1-on-1. That's going to take place. So you're looking at a very, very good show for the Elimination Chamber, which I know probably Saturday night. That's my guess. I haven't heard any official word from Derek Ferrera or anything like that. but hopefully we can have us all here for that particular show. So we'll see what happens with that. So I'll be running down future content shortly. So
Well, I won't be on there.
yes, I know that, Michael Bullock, and I know you'll let us all know what's going on with you. Well, we already know what's going on with you, but our viewers out there obviously probably don't know. But only our diehard viewers know. But for any new viewers, they will not know until you let them know. So with that said, solid 7 out of 10 for this edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. It could have been better, but like I said, I still thought it was good enough, and I thought it was a good enough go-home show. I think I'm definitely sold on this event. And Sunday night, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all goes down. So I'm looking at a really, really, really good show here. So with that said, Michael Bullock, let's have your overall thoughts on this edition of Raw tonight. This go-home to Chamber show.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's, like you said, a solid but unspectacular edition of Raw. The go home to Elimination Chamber edition. I'll say a 7 out of 10 as well. I mean, you had some alright segments. You had some alright, some good matches, but you also had some dud enhancement matches. So yeah, this card for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view looks really good. So looks stacked, but of course we'll have to wait and see come Sunday night. So 7 out of 10 for me. Fletcher, it's yours.
No, I'm in agreement with you guys. 7 out of 10 is the rating. It was a good show, solid show. I liked it. I thought they did a tremendous job building the Elimination Chamber. Even though they only had 2 weeks to literally prepare for this pay-per-view, because this was kind of a surprise out of nowhere type move. But this is just one last ditch effort to try to get people to sign up for the WWE Network. To have the over 1 million subscribers, try to show why the network is, without a doubt, the best thing out there. I guess it's won a few Webby Awards and whatnot, so it's an award-winning network now, so congratulations to that. And they're just hoping that they can attract more viewers. The more viewers you can get, the more momentum that this network can get, and the better the shows have been. And it is, for the most part, it's worth the $9.99. Let's just say that. If you get it, it's worth the $9.99. It's worth the hassle. It's worth the trouble. At the end of the day, it depends on what you do and how you handle it. And, I think they did a really good build for the show. Some of the chamber fights, we got to see a lot of the showcases tonight. I think they did a very good job with that. I think they definitely put the emphasis on Cena versus Owens really well, and plus they did a good job building the WWE World Heavyweight title. So, for the most part, even though, like I said, they really rushed the build of the show, I think they definitely did a mission accomplished. I think they did a very good job. So now we focus on Sunday night and the big event on the WWE Network. So, Anthony, 7 out of 10 is my rating. Take it home.
All right, we'll do. That'll do it for this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, now that we're at the end, now of course it's time for our usual shout-outs as always, and it actually works out well because it actually will start indeed. It indeed will start with Michael Bullock, and Michael Bullock, you'll give it to Fletch, and then you'll give it to me. I'll wrap it up. So it ended up working out well with the rotation. So Michael Bullock, you started off with your shout-outs.
All right, of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers who support our shows, whether it is the Wrestling Forum or Strictly Sports. Of course, we really appreciate your support, and we thank you all so very much for tuning in on this Memorial Day Monday. And of course, shout out to our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh. Shout out to our friends from our high school days, of course, Al Brederson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the First Lady of Strictly Sports, First Lady of Strictly Sports, Kaiser Butler. So, and of course, shout out to the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Derek Ferreira. Couldn't be with us tonight. And of course, one more thing. Of course, a shout out to our brave men and women who, from the past to the present, who continue to support who continue to. We want to thank them for what they do for our country, for what they do to help protect our freedom. I mean, it's very important that we honor them on this Memorial Day Monday. I mean, it's not about the barbecue. It's not about the hamburgers, the hot dogs, the beaches, and all that. I mean, this day is all about saying thank you to all the brave men and women of today and of the past who have always served our country. So, and to those who are still out there, we love you guys. We thank you so much for what you do for our country, and please get back home safe as soon as you can, because you know your families are waiting to see you. So with that, I give you a mile-high salute to you, to all the brave men and women out there on this Memorial Day Monday. So, yeah, so that's going to do it for me. Well, of course, I will not be on the show Friday night for Strictly Sports, or Saturday night for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view preview, because I will be competing at the Special Olympics State Summer Games this weekend. So I will be there, but I can guarantee you I will be on Sunday night for the recap. So yeah, so that's gonna do it for me. So this is the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, Mike Bullock, saying, of course, you all know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, and enjoy the rest of it. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. So. And of course, God bless and be good to each other as well. So, with that being said, Fletcher, it's yours.
Yes, indeed. Very, very well said, Michael Bullock. No doubt about it. First off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there who makes the wrestling forum what it is today. You guys already know who you are. You are the best in the world. We appreciate everything that you have done for us, and then some. To support Anthony on on his channel when he does the Wrestling Forum or Strictly Sports, or my channel on the Braves Fan 95 when we do other things, the Bulls Corner, the Ranger Roundup. You guys have been there through thick and thin, and you guys have been so loyal, and with that, we thank you. When you do with Derek with the SLB 2008-09, when he does the Wrestling Forum, when he does the Strictly Sports, or even when he does his sports blog on sportsblog.com. You guys have been there by the thousands, by the hundreds, or by the thousands, and supporting us on every little thing. And for that, we thank you, because without you guys, we're not doing what we're doing today. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. But, like Michael Bullock said, tonight we're honoring the men and women who basically gave up their lives, who sacrificed their lives for our freedom. And Memorial Day is the day that we honor those people, who passed away, who did do the ultimate sacrifice, and that needs to be remembered and never forgotten. To me, on the behalf of myself and at least my family, I want to thank each and every one of them, because of them, a lot of my family, some of my family is not from the United States. And, I'm not going to get too deep into that. But I want to show the respect and the love and the appreciation for each and every one of the men and women who served in the armed forces. And as a matter of fact, I even have a greater respect and love, because I had two members of my own family who served. One was actually in the Marine Corps Reserves. They call them Weekend Warriors. He was a part of them. And one who actually did a tour, did a couple of tours in Iraq and Afghanistan during his time. Now they're basically, back in civilian life, doing great jobs, and and doing the things, providing for their families. But they did what they had to do for us, and I appreciate them more than ever before. Um, so today is a day that we honor those people who did sacrifice and did put their lives on the line, and they are gone but never forgotten, and that's what Memorial Day is all about, to memorialize the great men and women of our armed forces. It doesn't matter if you're from the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Air Force. You guys are awesome. We love you. We support you each and every day. Um, Basically, tomorrow night, we got actually, no, I'll let Anthony wrap it up, and I'll let him do the future content. For me, I'm Mike Fletcher. You know the routine. 1,000 pounds. We out. Good night. Player, take it home.
Yes, will do indeed, Michael Fletcher. Of course, very special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports, along with the Ranger Roundup, and when we did at the Bulls Corner, as ridiculously over as they were and are to this day. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. There's nothing left to say about that. Our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. Matt Ward, who I know has got to be bumming after that tough loss by his Blackhawks tonight. Of course, Jason Hixenbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Braderson, along with Megan Silva and Kaiser Butler. And I have two very special shout-outs. The first one, obviously, I mentioned it earlier. I'll mention it again. Special shout-out to all the brave men and women out there in the United States Armed Forces who continue to do what they do for us on a daily basis. Sacrificing themselves for their country, and just fighting for our freedom. And that's all there is to say about it. And not just Memorial Day should they be appreciated. They should be appreciated every day. That's all there is to say about it. It shouldn't be just on these patriotic holidays, like Memorial Day and the 4th of July and Labor Day and all that. It should just be every day, and it should be all year round. Simple as that. So we appreciate all of you out there, and we cannot thank you enough from all of us here at the Wrestling Forum. And my second special shout out, as we are now after midnight here on the East Coast, a very special happy birthday to our Imperial Grand Poobah himself, the hardcore pipe bomb, Derek Ferreira, without whom none of this would be possible. I mean, this was his brainchild, folks. I mean, Derek Ferreira had like Vince McMahon in WWE, going into WrestleMania and all that. Just like him, he had a vision. He had a vision of, creating a show where all of us, him, myself, Fletch, Bullock, all of us here could give you the best coverage of not just professional wrestling, but also the world of sports. And that's what we do. And we have been doing this now for the better part of 3 years now. I mean, he used to do these things solo. I mean, and honestly, he could have still done that. I mean, all of this, he could have just done it himself. He could have just ignored us altogether. He could have just left us on the back burner and said, I want to do this all on my own. I don't need any of you guys. But then he had a thought, and you know what that thought was? That thought was, I think my shows would be even better if it had my best friends helping me out. And that's exactly what he did. In early 2012, right around the start of 2012, he brought me in, he brought Michael Fletcher in, and it was the night before the 2012 Royal Rumble. We broadcasted our very first show. And since then, we've been off and running. We've been doing it every Monday Friday. Yeah, there have been some cancellations along the way, and that's fine. Like he says, we all have lives outside of YouTube. Everybody knows that. And then a couple months later, in March of 2012, just a couple weeks before WrestleMania, he added Michael Bullock. He added Michael Bullock to the mix. And who will ever forget? I mean, I'll never forget Bullock's first show. Bullock's first show. It was perhaps the craziest night in wrestling forum history. We've had a lot of crazy nights.
Oh my, I'll never forget that.
None of us will, man. Yeah. It was, and we were also doing power rankings of the top superstars, which I kind of thought was ridiculous, but
and of course, where I got Ren and Stippy the first time by Mike Fletcher.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've all had some great moments, and the reason why we've had all these great moments has been because of one man, guys. Derek Ferrera. He's the one who put this all together. This is his brainchild, his baby. And we have all helped grow and nurture it, and now we're all over the place now. It started with the Wrestling Forum that night before the Royal Rumble in 2012. Strictly Sports was born 24 hours before Super Bowl 46, when the New York Giants and the New England Patriots squared off at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. And then from there, it has grown and grown and grown. We have had some tremendous moments here on the Wrestling Forum. We used to share those funny memes from Mimi Jean Okerlund, which unfortunately is now defunct nowadays, which really stinks. Because those memes were one of the top highlights of our shows almost every week. Derek used to bring out some funny memes. I broke out the funny memes. Fletcher would break out a rare funny meme, and Michael Bullock, even on occasion, would even do it. But nonetheless, the memes on the Wrestling Forum and our hijinks during those, or Strictly Sports, that unforgettable night when the Boston Bruins put away the Pittsburgh Penguins and went to the Stanley Cup Finals to feed me more. We'll never forget that. And then, of course, that big show we had a few weeks ago when Jimmy Alden coming on. Yeah, we'll never forget that when we talked about the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. But these last 3+ years, it's been all because of Derek Ferrera, and on behalf of Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock and all the great fans and friends of the Wrestling Forum, we want to send out a very special happy birthday to Derek Ferrera. We hope you have a tremendous day, brother. We cannot thank you and appreciate you enough for bringing the three of us on here and having us join you for this unbelievable ride that we have been on for the better part of this last 3 years. And quite frankly, we ain't slowing down anytime soon. To quote the great Terry Funk Mimi, how long will the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports go on? Forever, man. You'll never. The Wrestling Forum and the Strictly Sports will live on forever and ever. Amen. That's all there is to say about it. Derek Ferrera, you had the vision, and look what it's done, man. And we cannot thank you and appreciate you enough for that, man. And it's a damn shame you couldn't be with us tonight, obviously celebrating the Memorial Day holiday and probably celebrating maybe an early birthday celebration, I'm sure. So, and now, that's right, he's 31 now. I forgot. He's already in the 30 club. That's right. We're all in the 30 club now. So, very special happy birthday, Derek Ferrera, from all of us here at the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports, and the three of us in particular, man. Without you, I don't know what we'd be doing, but brother, we cannot thank you enough, man. You've made superstars out of all of us, even though you're the superstars. That's all there is to say about it. And a best friend of ours for the better part of 20 years, and we bonded during our school days from elementary. We lost touch in junior high because we went to separate junior highs, but then we reconnected in high school, and then there it is, man. Lost touch again for a few years, and then through the power of the internet, man, Facebook in particular, brought us all back together, and here we are, kicking ass and taking names. And that's what we're gonna keep on doing that here on the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports and any show that we do going forward. So happy birthday, Derek Ferrera. Love you, man. All right, that's going to do it now. Of course, future content, of course, tomorrow night. We're probably looking at around 10:30, 11 o'clock, probably more towards 11, if I'm being honest. Probably right around 11 o'clock or so. Michael Fletcher and I will be back on Fletcher's channel, Brace Fan 95. It will be the Rangers Roundup. We will recap Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals with the New York Rangers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Must win for the New York Rangers, obviously. They now trail the series 3-2. And if you saw the show last night, Michael Fletcher and I, we put our foot down. I mean, we didn't want to do it, but we had no choice. I'm sure you guys all saw it, and
I saw it too.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm sure. I know you did, Michael Bullock, and I know Derek Ferreira did too. And if you didn't see it, well, to any viewers who may have missed it, I'm just going to give you a little synopsis here. I went on the record, and I said it. Michael Fletcher agreed with me. Michael Bullock, I know, agrees with us, and I know Derek Ferreira agrees with us as well. Not only are the New York Rangers coming to play tomorrow night, but I guarantee you, folks, the New York Rangers will win Game 6, and they're going to force that sucker back to Madison Square Garden for a winner-take-all Game 7, which would be on Friday night. And it could go down as one of the biggest strictly sports shows of all time. It could rank right up there with the Mayweather-Pacquiao preview with Jimmy Alden and the Bruin-Penguin moment from 2013. So that's all there is to say about that. So you do not want to miss. You don't want to miss the Rangers.
Yeah, and of course I'm going to quote it so the fans can hear it. They can, they will, and you can believe that.
Amen to that, Michael Bullock. Amen to that. And of course I got to do my inner Devon. Oh, my brother, testify. That's exactly what you did right there, man. So yes, I guarantee you, the New York Rangers are going to win Game 6. They live for these elimination games, and I guarantee you, they're going to bring it tomorrow night, and they're going to win that game, and they're going to bring it back to the Garden for Game 7. You can believe that. I guarantee it. So, yep. So that's tomorrow night around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like I said, probably more so 11 since the game starts at 8. That'll be on Fletcher's channel, Brace Fan 95, Ranger Roundup, and then Friday night, Strictly Sports. 8:30. Derek Ferreira will be back for that. Not sure what's on the docket. Maybe we make the if there is a Game 7, which I hope there is, and maybe we could get into that. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, Major League Baseball power rankings. You can imagine that, and all the big news from the world of sports on the Strictly Sports. Ranger Roundup probably on a Friday. I don't know, after that or sometime. We'll have to figure that out depending on Fletcher's work schedule. And then, of course, I'm not sure if this is official, but I don't know if there's going to be any sort of Elimination Chamber preview show. We'll have to check and see with Derek Ferreira on that one. So, and that'll probably be Saturday night, my guess. But I don't know. Keep your eyes peeled on Facebook and anything, and all throughout our social media, and we'll have that information for you as soon as we have it. So that'll do it. So Michael Bullock will not see you until Sunday night for the Elimination Chamber recap show, but it will be tomorrow night for myself and Michael Fletcher when we do the Ranger Roundup on his Brace Fan 95 channel. So until tomorrow night for the Ranger Roundup, it is ridiculously over Anthony Florio for the phenom Michael Bullock, and we just lost our Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher, and of course, in very good spirits, our birthday boy himself, the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, and our Imperial Grand Poobah Derek Ferreira. And ridiculously over Anthony Florio, and you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. And until tomorrow night for the Ranger Roundup on Fletcher's channel, Brace Fan 95, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. Bye for now, my friends. God bless, and be good to each other.